What determines a card from being banned in Magic? What about restricted or even limited? Is it because of how expensive it is? Or is it from complaints of other players? We're going to answer these questions as much as I can, and the reason why Scarlet Tarn is up on here on the TCG player site, and no, I am not being sponsored by TCG, is because of the recent discussion. Scarlet Tarn, within the month, ad showed a promise of being $80, and a lot of players were complaining about this, actually. I waited a bit to see if something was going to be done because of this complaining, but nothing was. Only a small price drop. And the reason why this was brought up is because people were saying to either ban Scarlet Tarn or reprint it. Now, technically, there was a reprint in the Modern Masters 2017 edition, and this is the edition that we're talking about with its huge price increase. And of course, Scarlet Tarn was always an expensive fetch. In fact, not every fetch is cheap. But the matter of fact is, would this card be banned because of its price? Why this card? Why not Black Lotus or even Mox Opal in other formats? They are obviously a lot more expensive than Scarlet Tarn. In fact, there are a lot of expensive cards in Magic, almost close to the 80 to maybe even 100 ranges. But why aren't they banned? Well, because ban lists are determined on other factors, not because of price. As we know, there are ban lists for Standard, Modern, Vintage, Legacy, and even Commander. Now, you're probably wondering, why is the Standard list smaller compared to the other formats? Well, that's because Standard is a limited format. You only have certain sets in order to work with in order to make a deck. That is the reason why this list is so small. For this video, we're going to be looking at the Felidar Guardian ban, which was a huge deal at first when it came out. Felidar Guardian is only a white and 3, creature cat beast, a 1/4. Its ability though is when Felidar Guardian enters the battlefield, you may exile another target permanent you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So why did it get banned? Well, it turns out that Felidar Guardian got banned because of Sahiri Rai. And on this tapped out post, it says, with Sahiri Rai on the battlefield, cast Felidar Guardian. Target Sahiri, exile her, bring her back, activate the -2 ability from Sahiri. Target Felidar Guardian. Create a hasty token. With the token's ability, target Sahiri. Repeat the infinite combo for infinite attackers. What does the -2 do? The -2 creates a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature you control, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. That token gains haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step. So you create an infinite army with Felidar Guardian. Now, why wasn't Sahiri banned? Well, the reason is because Sahiri wasn't the issue. Sahiri was only enabling the issue. Felidar Guardian was the main issue, because Sahiri didn't do anything else with any other cards, and the meta was huge on Felidar Guardian. Now, the more question is, why isn't this banned in Modern? Why not Commander? As we can see, in Modern, there are a lot more cards compared to Standard. In fact, I think there's even more Vintage cards than Modern. Even so with Legacy. We'll get into why it's not banned in Commander in a moment. But let's look at Modern. As you can see, Modern has a lot more different cards, including Dark Depths. A lot of these cards are actually based off other combos or even huge quick synergy for a quick win. Now, the reason why Sahiri Rai or even Felidar Guardian is not on this list is because Modern actually has a lot more answers to deal with these cards. Standard did not. Of course, with Vintage, it's the same deal. Legacy, pretty much the same deal. A lot more answers probably at this point. Now we look into Commander. There's a reason why it's not banned in Commander. The reason for this is because Commander is a 99 deck format with a Commander. Now, because of that, you also have to count in lands. Let's just say we're building a deck for Sahiri Rai combo. At a 99, you have 2 cards dedicated to Felidar Guardian and Sahiri Rai. Now, you also need to put in lands for your deck. Obviously, the deck won't work. So, probably, depending on your commander, revolving around red, blue, white, you need maybe 20, maybe even 30 lands of basics, non-basics, etc. But what are the odds of drawing Felder Guardian and Zahiri Rai? Pretty low, actually. In fact, there are a lot more answers in Commander, too, to deal with this. Just to give an idea why certain cards were banned, Prophet of Krufix. It's a blue-green 3, human wizard creature 2/3. Untap all creatures and lands you control during each other player's untap step. You may cast creatures cards as though they had flash. Why was this a problem? Well, it's a simple fact that Commander, you pretty much play almost any card. Doesn't matter if it's too low of a mana drop, too high of a mana drop, there's a lot. Now you're probably looking at this and saying, why isn't Seaborn Muse banned? Well, because Seaborn Muse is Prophet of Krufix, except green, but doesn't have the ability for flash. Prophet of Krufix enabled the ability of flash. So you can untap on someone else's turn and play a giant creature. Then when their turn ends, you untap and you do the same thing. This was an issue. With Zahiri Rai and Felder Guardian, you need both cards. In fact, you need all the pieces in order for it to activate. But the main reason why it's not banned is because Commander is a bigger format than what people think. There are a lot more answers, and of course, it's a lot harder to draw both cards unless you decide to tutor. When we look at the standard though, you have a 60 card deck, and you can have multiple copies, while in Commander you only have one. So you could run, theoretically, 4 Felder Guardians and 4 Zahiris, and you could just run a bunch of mana and control in order just to pop off your combo. So the main issue is, does Tarn need to be banned because of its price? Of course not. Because by that logic, you'd need to ban other cards that are more expensive. Mox Opal, Arcbound Ravager, heck, even some of the other lands are even expensive. So I don't think this card needs to be banned. And people don't think of this situation of why a card is banned. Yes, it's a shame that Scarlet Tarn is an expensive card, but it doesn't mean you need the force to reprint it again. In fact, you need the right set to do that so. We are just going back to Ravnica, and Shocklands are there because we have seen Shocklands in Ravnica. It would feel weird if they didn't have Shocklands. If we went back to a plane that had these fetch lands, we probably would see fetch lands. But Magic's not going to force a card to be printed in Standard just because players want it. So the price is up more because of the limited value of trying to acquire it. Not because it's in Standard, not because it's in Modern, it's because of how hard it is to acquire. And that doesn't mean it needs to be banned because of that reason. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I've been debating on this rant for a long time. And it's good to finally talk about it because the ban list is actually something important in Magic. It doesn't serve a purpose of determining if a card is too expensive or not. But that logic, like I said before, Mox Opal, Arcbound Ravager, other lands, just a lot of cards would be banned. And sometimes it's not fair for players because once the card's banned, they're not going to buy it because it dropped. They're going to buy it probably if they're in a form, if they play with friends that do ban list. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Until then, like that like button, subscribe, leave a comment or two, I don't care. I'm going to see you in the next video.